Taking unnecessary risk and not exercising control over your spending can jeopardize your financial goals during a downturn or recession. Such economic upheaval can be very depressing and terrifying, but there is hope. You can weather the financial storm by planning ahead of time and taking a few simple precautions. But sometimes the best way to do so is to learn what not to do. So in today's video, you will learn what you absolutely shouldn't do during a recession. And if you stick around to the end, you'll find some of the best tips for saving during a recession. Hello, and welcome back. Before we continue, you should watch the rest of our videos on how to survive and even build long-term wealth during a recession. So, what should you avoid doing during a recession? 1. Don't amass further debt as a result of expensive and unnecessary purchases. One significant trap you should attempt to avoid once it relates to your finances in getting through a recession is piling up additional debt as a result of big and unimportant expenditures. Uncertainty in the economy is a time to increase savings and decrease debt. This should be your maxim and not the opposite, as it would be difficult to navigate the problems associated with settling debt with diminishing, or worse, no funds at all, especially in times like this. Funny enough, shopping during the holidays when the temptation to charge gifts to credit cards or use the buy now and pay later option is at its highest is one of the most prevalent ways that people accumulate debt. Both of these, if not paid up on time, may incur significant interest fees. Do your best to stay away from such financial hazards by preparing ahead. A great way of doing this is to save funds every month for the entire year. 2. Don't take on debt at a high rate of interest. If recessionary times, particularly if inflation is high, buyers may be forced to purchase some bare necessities on credit, thereby taking on debts. Even though it's not ideal, you can follow these simple steps to soften the blow. First is to endeavor to make every effort to avoid taking on high-interest debt, which is often related to credit cards. Secondly, consider credit cards that have initial 0% promo interest terms or move balances to such cards as a means to prevent this. Although these 0% rates won't carry on indefinitely, they can prevent you from accruing interest on necessary purchases as you strive to get back on your feet. 3. Don't be demoralized by poor savings rates. Saving account gains at the majority of internet banking institutions and credit unions have been increasing in line with the Federal Reserve's interest rate increase this year, while rates at many traditional banks continue to be at historic lows. Traditional banks, for instance, typically offer a 0.01% APY, which is an annual percentage yield on a savings account, but many online banks today offer APYs of 2% or more. Even if earning interest isn't the primary goal of emergency savings, maximizing the return on an account created in case of emergencies or other saving objectives still makes sense. 4. Don't let long-term financial targets slip your mind. As long as saving money is concerned, it's crucial to take your short-term and long-term investment objectives into account. Try to consider your future self, even though you might be more concerned with simply getting by right now. Saving for retirement and emergencies at the same time, rather than just one at the expense of the other, is the key to financial security, according to Greg McBride, Chief Financial Analyst at Bankrate. Now, let's examine some things you can do to save yourself some money. To find opportunities to save money, re-examine your necessities and way of living. The most straightforward strategy to improve savings typically entails reducing or eliminating specific spending. Ensure your savings are accessible. Your emergency fund should be accessible when choosing where to keep it in case you need to use it for unanticipated costs, like pricey hospital expenses or auto maintenance and repairs. You may easily access the money in a high-interest savings account while simultaneously generating interest. However, when it comes to creating an emergency fund, generating interest shouldn't be your main goal. When selecting a savings account, it is advisable to study the fine print and keep an eye out for restrictions like maximum withdrawal or limits and withdrawal charges. Keeping a different account for additional savings can be a wise decision, in addition to having access to your emergency fund account. Try to reduce or bargain for lower costs where and when possible. Regardless of whether the recession hasn't had a significant impact on your money yet, it's still a good idea to review your spendings and find ways to reduce expenditure or maximize bills. Bills for cable and cell phones, for instance, are frequently adjustable, so you can also try to negotiate lower monthly payments for bills in addition to cutting expenses. Financial well-being is mostly dependent on saving money and eliminating debt, particularly in tough economic times when costs are growing. When you implement practical plans and maintain the drive to expand your savings and pay off debt, staying on track is possible. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, like and comment on this one to share your thoughts. Subscribe and turn on the notification button so you'll be notified whenever we make a new video. We'll see you in the next video.